really happy to have Jennifer Clarke Eskew. Did I say it right?
You said it right.
I said it right because I was like halfway through it and I was like, I'm going to say it wrong. But I'm really glad to have you. I know some of the same people that you knew and that you worked with. And I think the really cool thing about it is all of them said, without question, they were like, she is. And I know you won't take offense to this. Some women would take offense to this, but they said, I'd rather have her than most men behind me. And I think that's a huge compliment, especially with some of the guys you know that you worked with, and that's how they felt about you. You're also getting ready to put a book out.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's really cool. And it just goes into the one phase of your career. Yes. And I think it's going to be really cool when that book comes out, because it comes out.
We're looking late October.
Okay, cool.
On a launch date.
All right, that's awesome. But that's just talking about your undercover work as a state police agent.
It's my state police. It's how I got into law enforcement and going through the State Police Academy, being a trooper, and then getting asked to work undercover. And
okay, so let's talk about how did you end up. So where were you born and raised?
I am from Cambridge, Lunenburg County, home of the Central Chargers.
Okay,
go Chargers.
Go Chargers. How are they doing this year in football?
I have no clue.
You don't. You're like, I moved back, but I don't keep up with the.
Well, I live in Georgia. I keep up as best I can by Facebook.
Okay, what part of Georgia you live in?
I live down on the coast around St. Simons.
I bet you thought I wore this hat for you.
I think you did.
I know. I was born in Columbus, Georgia. So.
Oh, okay.
So, but you're what part of Georgia?
I'm down in St. Simons Island.
Okay,
on the coast.
Oh, okay. So all the good seafood.
Great seafood. The Georgia wild caught shrimp.
You can't compare them.
Top of the line.
We went to Savannah. My wife and I went to Savannah, and it was like that. It was like unbelievable seafood.
Yeah.
Shrimp and grits.
Shrimp and grits. Just everything. And then because of where we are, you have a lot of great restaurants. I mean, line cooks, chefs, it doesn't matter. These people can cook.
And they know how.
Yes, they do.
It's not just like, hey, I read about it. It's they've spent their entire career.
Well,
so that's a good transition for me. The good transition for me is like you live in Georgia, you grew up in Virginia. You turned out to be a master of your craft as an undercover, because I mean, I think it's a pretty good indication of how good you are at what you do when you get picked up by a federal agency. Talk about so you went to Lunenburg County High School, right?
Yeah.
And so how did you decide to go into law enforcement?
It's kind of an awful story. I mean, when you're a kid, you just kind of watching TV and you're kind of idolizing, the police and the firefighters and the EMS, and you watched everything from emergency to
Emergency 51, right?
Yeah, all those people. You had to watch all of that, and you see that, and so it's cool. And I don't know, there were things that happened when I was young that it may have stuck in my head that might have been the spark to where things got started. Who knows? Because you're a kid, you're little.
Right.
And, of course, we're in a very low crime place, Lunenburg, Cambridge. There's not a lot going on there.
Right.
You got to look for crime there. And so I thought about it at 18, and I thought, I don't think they don't take women. And I went off to college, went to Old Dominion, and I graduated there in 84. And I, for some reason, was over at the courthouse building getting something, and I was stuck on the elevator for a few minutes there. And the chief of police with Norfolk PD was in the elevator with me, and he wanted to know when I was graduating from ODU, and because I had an ODU shirt or something on it.
Right.
And I told him, and he said, we could use undercover, whatever like that. And I'm just like looking at this guy like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
So I went out and used my college degree, is what I did. And it was in my head. It just was. And so I came home that winter, went hunting with my dad, because I grew up hunting with my dad.
Right.
I'm a talker, so it was great. The squirrels would go to the other side of the tree, and he could get them. I just had to go to my side and talk.
Right.
And I'm thinking I never really told my dad what I was going to do. I told him what I was going to do. Just that's how our relationship, was, and we'd be out there hunting. And so I sort of told him I was looking at maybe going with police department with either Norfolk or Richmond. I was going to apply to them. And he doesn't say anything. And I thought he was going to push back, or he was going to say no, or he was going to have something to say.
Just didn't know what it was going to happen.
Didn't know. And we're
so
like
that was the one quiet time in squirrel hunting, right?
Yeah, for both of us, because I'm waiting for the reaction.
Right.
and there's no reaction. There's
Okay.
2 minutes of the longest 2 minutes of silence
You're like,
ever.
please, squirrel, something
You
show
know,
up and
there's
save
like
me.
no deer tromping through. There's no deer dogs running through. There's just quiet.
Right.
And he goes, you need to go with the state police.
Okay.
And that was just the answer.
Okay.
And I started laughing. I said, they don't hire women. And he looked at me and he said, yes, they do.
What year is this?
This is 1985.
Okay.
And I said, well, have you ever seen a female trooper? And he goes, no, but they hire them. He goes, Title IX. It was passed in 1972, and they have to. And I'm sort of caught off guard because here's my dad actually quoting the law to me.
You're like, wait a minute.
But he has these answers, and he's so matter of fact, like exact.
He's just saying, like, this is what
He's
you're
just
gonna do.
stopped, and we're standing there in the woods, and he's talking to me, and he's just matter of fact, blunt. He goes, if you're going to do this, you need to go with the state police.
Okay.
And I was sort of, okay. And my brain is thinking, huh. And he goes, in fact, you need to take yourself down to Richmond and get a copy of what their requirements are and what you need to do. And you need to know all of that. He said, because don't expect anybody to give you anything. He goes, it's not going to matter if you're a man or a woman. You going through that academy, you're going to have to do it all. No one's going to give it to you.
Okay.
And he was always about that in life, that, you know, don't expect life to be fair. No one said it was going to be fair, so don't expect that. You want something, you can do it, go after it, get it.
But it's not just a pep talk. I think that's cool, and that's what I hear from you. Is it's not a pep talk. It is.
Matter of fact.
It's matter of fact, but it's also a plan. It's like, hey, this is the plan. This is what you're going to do. I think that is what's really cool about like a parent is giving that direction. But I think like for you, like what I hear is I hear you saying like, this is what my dad said. And so what happens? You go and get the directives and all they want from the state police. And then where does it go from there?
Well, I start filling out the applications, and I went ahead and got Richmond and Norfolk while I was at it.
Okay. Just in case.
Just in case.
Right.
And I had a job down in Norfolk that I'd started, and just was a good place working at a senior center, and
Okay.
I was in charge, and it was kind of nifty for just being 22 and
Right. Straight out of
having
college.
a job.
Right.
And the Norfolk police exam came up, and they were giving it at the building where my brand new boss was at, and I was afraid to go over there and her see me take the test. So I skipped it, and I didn't do it.
Okay.
And then I thought, well, my dad's right. Make up your mind what you're going to do. And I said, well, I'll just wait on the state police.
Okay.
And I waited, and I waited. And about 3, maybe 4 months after I applied, I get this letter, and it tells me to be at the State Police Academy in Richmond, 7700 Midlothian Turnpike. Be there on this date, this time, and you're going to be doing a written test and a physical testing. You're going to do all these things that day. And I thought, okay. And there's no study guide. There's nobody I can ask.
And there's no internet. There's no
internet.
no social media or anything else to like. I think people don't realize what it was like.
No.
And it wasn't like you weren't. There wasn't 20 people applying for that job. There were probably hundreds of people applying, just like you were.
Right.
And it wasn't like they gave you any extra like time or anything else. It was just matter of fact, you will be here and you will do this.
Yes.
So you go to Richmond. What is that like? How many people were down there?
I would like to say we were somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 to 80 people, maybe. And it's pretty much a full day.
Right.
And everybody's pretty much addressing you by your last name.
Okay.
And I remember we take like this written test, and then part of it has some psychological type stuff in it, but it's not much. I mean, it was really basic. And so I took the test. If you're doing 64 and a 55, how many miles per hour is that over the speed limit? Oh, well, that's 9. Now, it's good that they kept that simple, because my ability to count and work with numbers really depends on my fingers and my toes and how much access I have, because I'm not the best at mathematics. And they asked little things of that nature.
Okay.
And it was just a long test. I mean,
So what was
maybe 100 questions.
Yeah. So what was the physical agility like?
The physical part, they had us in the gym. So we had to run through this like tube thing. So you're basically crawling through, but you're going through as fast as you can because they're timing that. Coming out, there's some stuff around some cones, and then there was a test of steps, and they took your pulse rate and things before you started. And I remember standing there, and these recruiter troopers were there. You know, they're checking your pulse to try to see, you know, what your resting pulse rate is. Then you do the steps for like 2 minutes, and they're checking your pulse. And I remember them looking at me, and they're like, "You work out a lot?" "Yes." And he goes, "I'm going to check your rate again." So somebody else is checking it. And I guess my pulse rate was only running about 88.
And they're like, "This is not right."
No, but my resting pulse rate threw them off because it was like 48. And I said,
I don't get really excited.
It just...
So I'm chill.
I'm really just glad this is good, you know? And so he said, "That's really good." And so then we had to go outside, and there was this test of how fast you could get your seatbelt off and get out of the state police driver's side of the car and get around the door, like get to the front of the car. It was just this real quick thing. And we did that. I just thought it was cool because we got to sit in the car. You know,
you're like, "I'm in a police car."
In a police
somebody get a camera, and it wasn't like it was now where everybody's taking a picture.
Yeah. So they did that, and there's a couple other tests. I don't really remember them all, but it's like, all right, this is cool.
So you finished that day out. Then how long does it take them to get back to you, or do you have like an exit interview or anything like that?
No, they don't only talk to you on that thing. I get a phone call sometime there that was like in August. About November, I'm getting a phone call. I guess it was maybe a letter letting me know I'd passed everything, and they were going to the next phase of background and all. And I had signed off where they could have access to everything, whatever they needed: criminal records, financial records.
Your school,
there wasn't a whole lot on
transcripts and stuff like that.
So I get called by retired Sergeant Rex Carter, and he starts doing my background, and I realize it's coming up quick as to what these hiring dates are. I get notified right there at the end of December of '86 to come to headquarters and to bring all my stuff, and we're going to go see the state police's contracted doctor. He's basically across Midlothian, someplace out that way. So I'm there. There's 5 guys there. We're all dressed in our Sunday best. Everybody's looking nice and clean and cut. And we go over to the doctor's office. We come back, and there's an older lieutenant there, Lieutenant Watts. He's kind of grizzled,
right,
to say the least. And he just flat tells me in the hallway, "You're too fat." And, so.
And you said you were $120 at this point.
At that point, I might have been about 135 or something, somewhere in there. Whatever it was, I did not meet their standards by 1 pound or something on the
ratio that they
on the doctor's scales, and I'm thinking, all right, because I am like a junior size 8 in clothing or something. I am small, and I'm thinking, okay.
I'm not really sure what you're looking for.
What the weight limit thing is here? They got a weight limit, and he goes, "You'll have to wait right here. I'll be back with you." So I'm standing in this hallway at 77 Midlothian. I'm in the headquarters in this big, empty, older building. It's like a 1940s building. Everything echoes there, and I'm just like, okay, you can't cry. Don't cry.
Just pull it together. Pull it together.
It's like, I don't know what this is about, but the 5 guys go in the room. He comes back out. He looks at me. He looks at the papers. "You need to go see Nurse Lynn. She's the state police nurse." Tells me where it is. One set of directions. There's no, I don't know where I'm driving.
There's no backup plan or anything else.
There's I don't know where he wants. Just drive around the building. I go out, get in my vehicle, drive over. Have no idea where I'm going on the State Police Academy grounds. I don't know. I get over there. She's at the very end of the far west wing hallway. Very end. Nicest person in the world. She comes in. She's like, we weigh. She goes. She does the caliper. She goes, "You can gain 25 pounds." She goes, "You're solid muscle." She goes, "Don't worry about him. He's rough. He's gruff with everybody." She just tells me this. And
that's good.
It's so nice. So she calls him. They send me back over. Now it's just me and him. The 5 guys have left. They finished for their...
They finished what they were doing.
Here I am dragging up the back rear end and
right.
stuff. And everything is just, "Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir." And he's telling me now my hair is too long. for the state police. I'm going to have a haircut before the academy starts.
And you're like, does this mean I'm hired?
Pretty much it's clicking. My brain is going, I think the job is mine. It's just a matter of this haircut thing.
You're like, I can get a haircut.
And my mom has been cutting hair her whole life because she runs a beauty shop. So, yeah, I got that nailed this afternoon.
Yeah.
And he's telling me my starting date is January 16th. We're going to come for a week to get uniforms, etc. And then we're going to go out into the field with field training officers for a ride-along program with them for a few weeks. And the official academy begins March 3rd. So it's all great. It's right here at the end of December. Everything is happening. And then Trooper Ricky McCoy gets shot and killed out on Interstate 81.
That was in
1986, January.
McCoy, is he the one that got killed
Ricky
on
McCoy.
64 or 81?
81.
Okay. It was either Botetourt or Rockbridge, wasn't it?
I want to say it was down maybe Botetourt. It was, but that happens, and it's like headlines everywhere. It's the only thing anybody's talking about on the news in Richmond. It's the only thing that's being talked about. It's the only thing that's in the newspapers.
Definitely the only thing in Lunenburg County.
Definitely. Well, at this point, because I have a huge family between my mom and dad's side. It's huge, and cousins and things, aunts and uncles, and it was just like everybody's sort of like, oh, what, are you sure she? Well, my dad never questioned this. He never did come back and say, "Are you sure?" There's none of that.
He'd already given you a plan. You'd follow the plan,
Right.
and
he could see I was working towards doing it. My mom was. So we never really sit down and discuss the details of what's happened. And Trooper McCoy was executed. I mean, he didn't just get shot. As he's trying to crawl back to his car, they get out and execute him. Mm-hmm. It was 3 other people were murdered, and
because he kind of pulled up on the back end of it, like
right.
He was, and it wasn't like it used to. It isn't like it is now, where you had instant access to information.
No,
if you did something in another state or even another county or 2 away, it wasn't like you're aware of it. So he kind of went into it kind of blind.
Yeah, they were driving with their bright headlights on, and the truck drivers were complaining on the CB radio, and he heard it, and he happened to see the vehicle, and it was. Speeding, and
proactive trooper, and
kind of speeding, not heavily duty, and at the same time bright headlights on, and he pulled him over and
did what a good.
He had no idea. He had no idea what he was. But then, anytime any officer is pulling someone over, you don't know what's happening in that car, what's going on in their mind.
So all that stuff happens. You do your FTO. You get to the academy. What was it like? How many weeks was it back then?
They had this thing. We were going to be the smallest class they had ever hired. Okay. And the thought process behind this was, if we hire 35, we'll get them through the full academy. We won't lose anybody out the academy, because they were getting tired of getting people halfway through the academy and losing them, or getting them through the first 2 weeks even and losing them, or even to the last week and losing them out of the academy, because it's a lot of time, money invested in this person who doesn't succeed.
Right.
If we do this on a smaller scale,
we'll be better.
And we will cut off. We were going to do 22 weeks, but they said 20 weeks, because you'll come back and you'll get the breathalyzer training at a later date.
Okay.
After our class, they decided that was not the way to go about it. Go back to hiring like they did, because of our 35, only 1 quit before the end of the full year.
Right.
Things like that do happen. So, yeah, we did graduate 35. We started 35, graduated 35. It's very paramilitary, but leaning more to the military end of things, as far as learning to salute, learning not to lean against a wall, learning to stay, stand and parade rest, and different things.
How to put your hat on.
Yeah, you better learn to screw that hat on really good.
Get the hat on right.
Yeah.
So the driver's training, what was driver's training like back then?
Fun.
Was it really?
Oh, I love that.
Because I've heard stories about, like, at the State Police Academy, where they were talking about boxing gloves or something at the end of broom handles, and you go into a curve and they punch the back of the car to make you lose traction. Did that happen to y'all or no?
No. Well, we got to go out to brand new interstate that they were building, 295, that wasn't open yet. We got to drive out there and do all kinds of really cool things.
And that was back when cars actually had horsepower.
We do pretty good. Between the cars they had for us and the brand new Chevy Capris and the the Ford Crown Vics and all. They're big cars, they're big heavy cars, but you could drive them and learn and do a lot of neat things. And they were teaching you stuff, and you really learn. And I still do it today. And I tried to teach this to my grandchildren here lately. Use your mirrors. I know you got that really cool camera,
the backup camera,
but let me show you about using your mirrors. And I took my grandson out twice driving this past year, and I said, let's go to find a parking lot. What are we going to do? I said, well, you're going to drive Nana Jen's truck. What? Yep. What are we going to do? We're going to practice reverse. We're just going to drive in reverse all day. And he's
nobody knows how to parallel park anymore.
Everything. So I made him do reverse driving, and he hadn't. So he was like, this is cool. So he got that, and he just got his first new to him vehicle. Used.
Oh, that's cool.
Got a truck. So.
Oh, you got to. You live in Lunenburg, right?
But no, he doesn't.
He doesn't?
No, he's from South Carolina.
Okay.
That's grandkid.
Okay.
So he liked that and all. But I said, you got to learn to drive with your mirrors at all times. You just learn. And I'll remind them of that forever. So I still drive with my mirrors a lot, and it helps, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But driving with the state police it was great. You got to go so fast.
It was it was just a challenge.
You could just floor it.
And that was back. Did y'all have the blue bubble gums at that point, or were they still the red? Or
No, we had blue bubbles, big old blue bubbles.
It looks like you're trying to land a plane out there.
It was huge, and it was over top your head, and so was the siren.
Okay.
So I figure I'm due for hearing loss at any day now because that over top my
those
head.
things are loud.
It was very loud.
So you go through all that. What was the marksmanship like firearms for y'all? Because y'all did
started with the 38 revolvers.
Okay.
So we had the big old Model 64 Smith & Wesson 38 6-shot. We had the speed loaders to drop and do, and so you had that. We also had the Remington 870 pump shotguns, and that was it. There were no tasers. There was no gas or.
But y'all had those sabers.
What?
The blackjack. Well, they don't call them blackjacks. Do you remember the leather
Slapjack.
ones? Yeah, slapjack.
They were not issued, but
they were highly recommended.
Our pants.
Yeah, had that.
Our clothing was made, as I understood it, by the prison systems.
Okay.
And so they built the slapjack pocket into the pants, and so
almost like painter. It's like that little slot, like a painter pant.
So if you acquired a slapjack,
you could put it in that pocket.
It could go in that pocket because you had that pocket. You were issued a 5-cell D-cell flashlight, mag light.
Yeah.
So you have a light. It's pretty long.
Like
it's hefty.
Bat.
It pretty much. It was a hefty baseball bat, and you had that, but they don't really. Tactics, they teach you things. They teach you come-alongs and stuff of that nature.
They don't teach you how to fight.
They did let us box. We learned some basic tactics and some basic martial arts karate moves. I probably should clarify, when I was in college, I did martial arts.
Oh, okay.
And in fact, I did it
so
for
years. You did pretty well in defensive tactics then.
I didn't have a
Probably better than most.
Maybe.
We'll throw this over here because I haven't started yet.
I had gotten my black belt in Japan back in 1985. I went with my sensei, and 22 of us went, and we came back with black belts. But we'd been doing it for years.
Oh, that's really
so
cool.
I'd been training like every day for like 4 or 5 years.
That's what threw off their ratio. They're like, this girl's all muscle. We didn't plan for this.
Well, I maybe hadn't been all. I had to give up things like pizza and beer and rice because I ate a lot of that before going to the academy. But at the same time, we worked out a lot. We did lots of push-ups, lots of sit-ups, lots of leg lifts.
A lot of core work.
And then we did an awful lot of sparring because our sensei in training, and it was bare knuckle fighting, what they all talk about it now, but we didn't have all the pads and the
MMA
gear.
before it was the MMA.
Yeah. We didn't have mouthpieces and headgear and chest gear and things.
You just learned how to keep your hands up.
Yeah. So at the academy, I actually fought Trooper Charlie Delp, great guy. Because I had my choice who I'd like to fight, but they picked Charlie, so I took it as a compliment. They were letting me fight one of the males,
right?
And I think you should, because I'd always fought guys in martial arts.
Okay.
I mean, I fought girls too. A lot, they're my friends, but in sparring fighting. Right. But if you're going to do these 2-minute rounds with these really big 12-ounce heavy boxing gloves and a football helmet on, because that's the only thing that they had to keep you from getting hit at the State Police Academy, and you boxed. And Trooper Gettings was one of our self-defense tactics instructors, and so he was very much on me that do not kick him. It's going to be your first instinct, and don't kick him
because you have more reach with your feet.
And that's how I could keep people away from me, and that's
Yeah.
From my size, my strength, my feet were it, and I couldn't sweep him. I couldn't hit him with an elbow strike. These things were off. I had to box. I had to use.
So you're going against what you've learned for years.
Right. So that first 2 minutes, it was kind of like I was adjusting to everything between the mouthpiece and everything going on, but also realizing that when he would hit me in the face or in the helmet, that it didn't hurt, which
it just kind of stunned you a little bit.
Just like, well, that's interesting. And my head's bopping back and forth, and I'm like, okay. And so the second 2 minute round was pretty good, but both of us afterwards are sitting there thanking one another for doing. We're sitting on the bench together, and we're both breathing in all the oxygen the gym has left, because the idea is not to win a fight, like the person you're fighting. The whole idea was to understand that if you get in a fight with someone, 4 minutes is an awful long time.
Very long time.
And while you're waiting for backup or help, so it is to your advantage to know and learn as many self-defense techniques as you can to be able to take control of somebody, whether it's one of these come-along techniques, whatever it takes. But if you think you're going to punch somebody and knock them out, no.
Doesn't happen.
If you think that you're going to be able to,
manhandle
anybody, it's not going to happen.
Right.
I mean, years later, I had a boss, Bruce, with ATF, and he was a big guy.
Right.
He's running close to 6'5" and about 315, 320.
Right.
And then there's me.
Right.
So I said, I may not win, but I'm going to leave a mark on you. It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
You're going to be thinking about me when you're over there rubbing that going, gosh, that hurts.
Yeah, you left a mark. Right.
So it's that kind of thing. And I think people think, oh, you got to get in there and win. It's like, it's not a win or lose. You are fighting. And if you're on the side of the road fighting, it is for your life.
Right.
And if you're fighting fair, you're not going to win.
No.
And you have to have that mindset.
If I'm going to win this, I'm not going to just survive.
I want to go home. I got things I got to do. I mean, dogs need to see me. I need to see my dogs.
Right.
And whatever it is gets you home.
So that's kind of towards the end of the academy. You graduate. Where was your first assignment?
Division 5, Area 32.
Now, where is that at?
That was Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, and Portsmouth at the time.
Okay. And I'm sure it was like a really nice place to work, and the interstate and everything else. What was it like being a trooper down there? It was busy.
It was busy, busy, busy. It was every day, all day, every night, all night.
Any call that you had while you were a road trooper that like stands out to you, like, hey, this is a little bit different, or just like anything that you remember about working as a trooper?
Yeah, I mean, I remember a lot of it, and mostly because you don't just get to work it, you get to write it all down.
Right, that's right. I documented it. I wrote a report. I told a story about it.
I wrote reports about it. I wrote accidents. Now, we worked a lot of accidents. I averaged 200 accident reports a year that I had to write, because rush hour traffic morning and night was
brutal.
Well, a lot of accidents. Worked a lot of fatals because of alcohol, other impairments, distracted drivers, sleeping drivers, high speed, things like that. So you end up working.
And there wasn't a lot of safety equipment back then. You had a seatbelt, and that's just about it.
Seatbelt laws is about it, and child safety seats came out while I was a trooper. I mean, like, actually became hey, you have to have a child safety seat.
Okay.
And that was a big thing. Yeah, I mean, they all kind of stand out to a point, and I write about a couple of them in the book.
Okay.
So, because I'd been on the job, and when you get out of the academy, you're with an FTO, and I'm like my first or second night out on my own, and one of the troopers has a double fatality accident, and I go and I'm assisting him there, and he was great. Cecil Bray, great guy. And he recognized right off the bat that I've not been to a fatality, and this is all fresh. I mean, everything that's happening.
I don't think there's anything that prepares you for the carnage that you see in vehicle accidents and any type of thing that is a violent death.
Right.
People, I don't think anybody can your worst imagination on Halloween like would not
No,
prepare you.
no,
for
you're not
what you
ready.
see.
And we've only seen it in some old movies, old videos, and some back before PowerPoint there were slideshows, and
But that doesn't have
that doesn't do
that
that.
doesn't touch the smell.
At the road, it's right there. The smell is a huge thing.
everything. It's
Yeah.
just. I know that like I know people don't believe that if they hadn't worked in this occupation, but like this like on suicides that you walk in right afterwards, there is a distinct smell of brain matter.
Everything.
The smell, the gunpowder smell, all those things, like it is. And I can understand why some people get PTSD and they have that, like those triggers, because if you don't learn how to navigate through that, it's just very, very difficult.
Well, it was so much, and I'm taking it in. What I'm seeing, and he's explaining the accident scene to me and what's happened. This was a Datsun 300Z, I think is what they called them back then. Nissan 300Z, and it has hit the barricade wall out on Route 44, which I think is called 264 now. It's hit that, and then it's flipped, and he's showing me the gouges and how it's flipped 5 times, and it's landed back up on its wheels. I mean, it's sitting right on its wheels. It's crushed down. It had T-tops, but the T-tops apparently had not been on it because we found them crushed in the back end and stuff. So we have a person on the interstate that is deceased. We have somebody who was buckled in to the front passenger.
You have an ejection.
Yeah.
And then you have one that's still
strapped, still in the passenger front seat and crushed out. So he's telling me things and he's explaining things, but he's also kind of keeping it
matter of fact.
It's matter of fact, but he's using a little bit of gallows humor, but not a lot, just a little bit to kind of lighten it up.
Right.
Because he's watching me. Because
he wants you to be able to function through it.
Because I have to function through this thing. And as he sees that I'm taking it in, and I was really taking it in more methodically, like scientific, like things were just locking in for me.
Right.
Like, okay, I'm learning.
Sense.
Because I was smelling alcohol, but I didn't say it. He goes, "You're smelling alcohol?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Yeah, this is going to be pretty much, this is probably going to be the contributing factor. You're smelling it off the blood." And there was a lot of blood around me, and I went, okay. Well, all right. Yeah, I got that. And things like that started to become, this is how you learn.
How you process it.
And so he asked me if I would take, one of the other troopers was on the scene with me, if we would go out and if I would do the death notification at the family. And they would have a Virginia Beach PD chaplain would meet us at the house. But it was still going to be up to me to talk to them.
To deliver them.
And that's tough because...
So how, just without going into a whole lot of detail, are you notifying parents of teenagers or are you notifying parents of...
It's whoever. And I talk about it in one of the chapters about being there on that doorstep and knowing the look that's going to be in those eyes because they see you. And this other, because we tried to do it with 2 if we could.
Right.
They see you. They see the trooper uniform. They know that their loved one is not home yet.
Yes.
And they're looking past you,
hoping that you brought them home with you.
They just are. They're looking past you, and you just know it. You know the look before that door opens. And the last one I had to do was a teenager, and it was just like, no, I don't. This is not good.
Brutal.
This is rough because you just don't want to do that, and there's nothing you can say or do.
And I think that's the hard thing for me is for the general population that hasn't had to experience that and have that pressure on you to make sure the delivery is in the most. Because that's a life-changing event for them, 100%. Yeah. You could have done it 20 times before them, but you were still interrupting somebody's life, and you're delivering them catastrophic news, and there is no right way to do it.
You are changing their life forever. It is no different than when I mentioned Trooper McCoy. It is no different from that night. It changed that family. It changed everything for everybody that was affected by that night forever. It is no different every time you knock on that door to have to deliver that
news.
You are about to change absolutely everything, and you can't fix it. And that was one of the things that probably was a learning thing for me for the longest time. I can't fix this. I want to fix it,
but
I can't
I'm
fix
just
this.
responding and picking up the pieces.
I'm doing what I can do, and you can't let it stay in your head too long because you got other things to do. I mean, I knew some guys that worked a lot of fatalities. One that used to work out on 58, and I believe he had like 9 fatalities total in a 1-week working period. Now, these were multi-fatality accidents out on 58 before they got it fixed, back when it was called Suicide Strip.
Right.
And it was just, that's overwhelming. That's so much because you have like 3 in one car, 2 in another car.
Was that like motor vehicle? Was that a motor vehicle crash against a commercial vehicle? Is that
combination of everything?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just.
So you finished with your state, like not finished, but like at some point you get approached about being an undercover.
Yeah.
With the state police.
I'd been with the state, and now they let me do one little cute little undercover. I thought it was such a big deal. It turned out not to be, but to me it was the BFD
You're
of
asking
all
me
time.
to do, you're asking me to do this, so this has got to be cool.
Well, I'd already gotten jammed up with a couple of things, and I'd already made a few rookie mistakes that were like riding over top of my head.
Right.
And I was like, I need to do anything. If somebody could just, because people are really quick to complain about you, even if you've done nothing.
Yes, and if you give them something, it's just like it can follow you.
It's like crazy.
For a while.
So if somebody could just say something nice about what I do, it'd be great. But I wasn't getting any of that. I was like, yeah, this is just okay.
It does seem like when you hit that streak, it's just like everything that I do is turning to crap. I don't even know how to handle it.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, yeah, what else could I step in today? It's like,
that's exactly right.
Like
So you get. How do you end up as an undercover? Your first one, you were talking about like, hey, this is kind of like
the first one. It's early in the morning. It's like rush hour is ongoing. And over, as I call it, the loudspeaker of life, dispatch is saying, my number was 958, and it was my first sergeant basically using his number. I forget what it was, but anyway, 958, 169, need you to meet him at the area office right away. And I went,
oh no.
There's not a trooper in the division. There's not a trooper in my area that didn't just hear that go out at 10 minutes to 8 in the morning.
It's glad it's not.
And it's
me.
like, what the hell have I done now? Because
you're like, oh,
and that's not even the words I was thinking or what was going on. And I am 23, and all I know is Jesus, this sucks. My whole life sucks. And I'm like, so I'm driving to the office, and I'm thinking, this has got to be bad because
you're going through all the different calls and everything.
He's calling me to the office in rush hour.
Yeah.
They never call you to the office in rush hour because it's rush hour. And
right. They want you out
They
there.
want you on the road.
Right.
And it's like, this has to be,
this is not good.
Yeah, this is probably it.
Next level.
So you get everything together and you're thinking, well, okay, all the buttons are buttoned and there's nothing fault. Everything is perfect order, tie is right, hat is right. Go walk into the office and, hey, Jenny Lynn, good to see you this morning. Come on in my office. And I'm thinking,
okay.
Huh.
Is he setting me up?
Like I said, my name's not even Jenny Lynn, and so it was just sort of like, but that's what he called me, and I had to let that go, just let him call me that. So I was like, yes, sir. So I go in and sit down, and I'm trying to blend in with this wood paneling, just don't notice me.
Maybe you're not going to see the young trooper sitting here. I'm just part of the building.
I'm just going to blend right up in here because what we needed was some background, but anyway, I didn't have any. So he's like, we need you to do us a favor this morning. Now, I had already figured out that the we and us
was you.
Was the department of the state police needed a favor from me.
Okay.
The we and us wanted a favor. Okay. Yes, sir. We need you, just go home, put your college clothes on, and we're going to have you, because we've got bomb threats going on over on the Eastern Shore. We're going to send you back to the community college for the day, and we're going to try to figure out who is making these bomb threats, because it's been happening off and on for 2 weeks, and you're our college student. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not, but I guess I still look like one. So yeah. I am kind of
closer to it than you are,
and I probably do have what he called college clothes at home, which I think he meant jeans and a t-shirt.
Right.
So
he just didn't want to tell you how to dress. He's like, I'm just
you
going to
didn't
say
see
college
it, kind of,
clothes.
So I get keys for an undercover vehicle. It was a green Monte Carlo, whatever. Get all this stuff. I zip to my apartment. I am just elated. I'm getting to work undercover. Yes. It's not going to be the biggest thing, but it's my thing.
Yeah.
Everything. And I get on the little secret radio they have in the car and let them know that I'm en route to that location, because everybody that's listening to that radio that figured I'd just gotten jammed up again.
No, I'm on a special assignment.
I'm doing something secret.
Right.
So it was good, and I went, and I at least figured out who it was, or pretty much
that
was.
Cool.
But it wasn't that cool. I mean, because he was already the person they suspected, and the weird comments that the guy made to me and the weird behavior just kind of added into it. And so they offered him a polygraph, and he confessed to the polygraph operator.
Okay.
But I narrowed it down.
You had a hand in it.
I had a hand in it. And that whole day was
so
like...
you transitioned from that operation, and then how did you get into it full time?
I had gone through a ugly relationship breakup.
That never happens when you just start working at a new job.
Never does.
No.
And police officers never date one another, and they never live together, and none of those things. So that ended badly for me. He moved along with no problem.
Yeah.
But I took it. I took it
a little bit different.
I took it hard, for 40 years or something. But
That's right. No. I'm over it today.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good now.
Today is my new way forward.
Yeah, but yeah. So I was trying to think, if I could just disappear, if I could just be somebody else somewhere else, it'd be great.
Right.
And along came a spider and sat down beside me and said, "Hey, we have an undercover thing. We would like to know if you would like to be a full-time undercover with the state police. It's a 2-step increase in pay." I think that meant like...
You're like, you have me in hello.
Yeah. Like, you want me to do what? Yeah, I'll take it.
Right.
And then I find out I'm leaving Division 5. I'm going to actually have to go to Division 3 to Appomattox.
Okay.
And then they're going to assign me to some other place.
Right.
And my people don't even know where I'm going to go. And they're going to give me an undercover card. It's going to be mine. And I got that whole whopping 2-step increase in pay. It's not a promotion. They made that very clear. It's a lateral, but you're going to get 2 steps, which back then was, I don't know, like $85 more a month or something. No, it wasn't
big
much.
increase. I don't know.
Woohoo!
That's right, 2 steps.
And I get to have a new name and a new date of birth and a new social security number. I immediately made myself 3 years younger.
Of course. Did you get to pick the picture, or did they take?
Oh no! I went to DMV with all the photos, and I had to take the whole driving test.
Really?
The written.
Oh, so they went all in. Either they went all in, or they didn't plan through it, and they're like, no.
We're all in, like
Okay.
the whole thing.
Okay.
And they move myself, and they move another young lady who had just got out of the academy and was working for Stanton Police Department. They move us into Feria Court, which is a federal housing supplemented Section 8 type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell us right off the bat, we don't have any informants yet, okay? We have gang problems, and we're starting to see crack on the streets a lot, and cocaine, and we're hearing guns, and we're hearing about violence, and we're hearing about fights, and we're also concerned about,
So it's, in military terms, is we have an enemy over here.
Yes.
Or we think we might know who it is, but if you don't mind, just go over there and see what you can find out. Okay.
And the biggest thing that they told us that day was, because we had these secret meetings up on Afton Mountain at the Howard Johnson's.
Up on the top of the mountain,
Oh, yeah, we'd have a little secret meeting. And they were like, the girls should be okay as long as they play it safe.
You're like, I'm in an undercover operation.
I'm going to live there.
It's Section 8 housing.
It's Section 8 housing.
And my cover is another female. And
undercover. And we started out together, and what we found out is we got asked out on dates, and people were willing to accommodate. Guys would like to ask us out. We're willing to buy dope to give to us.
I will find dope for you.
Yeah, to give dope. We're like, this is not how this works, so we got to quit doing this. We found out that trying to go to bars in the area, nightclubs, bars, whatever you want to call it, that involves a lot of alcohol, And you're once again caught in that situation of this is not working out. I'm not getting the dope buys I need. And if I hang around here, people are expecting to use the dope.
Right.
And
so you're not like
this
you're
isn't
going
working.
in too far down on the
Yeah.
in the levels.
Yeah.
And you're a bottom feeder and you want to be mid to upper feeder.
You try it. And of course the state's sitting there going, just make 3 buys from somebody, 3 felony buys of cocaine or crack, and move on. Don't buy from them again, which that's very hard to explain to people. Like,
hey, we really enjoyed our time. You've got the best crack in town, but I'm going to go over here and buy from your competitor.
Yeah, or why don't you send one of your guys out to let me buy from them, because I can't buy from you again. And that became, that's sort of things you work through. They ended up being able to work her a lot in the city of Stanton and right in that area around there because they got informants there. And at the same time, the state hooked up with Waynesboro, which Stanton, Waynesboro, really close. And with Waynesboro, we worked with a Detective Klein up there, great guy. He had a great informant. Okay. In the world of informants, he had a great informant. That's still
We'll talk
clarified.
about. So I think people don't understand. I think people like see TV shows and they think about different things and they think about what exactly is a good informant. So we have somebody that has been identified as somebody that's involved in the illegal activity that you're involving yourself in, and they decide to help you. Jealousy, girlfriend-boyfriend issue, relationship issues, and they're willing to sell out their friends in a lot of cases.
Yes.
Go. So what do you have?
Okay, for him, he was not the greatest informant I ever had. I had a couple far better later on in years, but all right.
But you hadn't had a source development class at this point. Like how
I hadn't had anything.
Yeah.
I had nothing. I literally went to the State Police Academy a few years before. I learned how to be a state trooper, undercover. No
like
one
if
taught
we
me
wrecked
anything.
this car, I know how to work this accident, but like past that, I really don't.
Yeah, undercover wise, we had no training. Just, in fact, drug recognition. They had done that for about an hour one day at the academy. That's what other than what I'd seen as a trooper.
So their expectation is, well, you're a female and you can fit in, and so you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But it's not like we're going to have a dude fighting you or anything else.
Yeah.
Like he might try to spoon up to you or something like that. But other than that, you'll be okay.
You should be good.
You should be fine.
Everything. And
if you play it safe, right?
So if you play it safe. So I had a topside agent assigned to me, special agent, CB Wyatt, Charlie Wyatt out of Stanton. He was assigned to me. Great guy, great family, great guy.
But I think
great attitude.
Let's talk about topside, what that means.
Okay.
So topside, I'll try to explain as best I can and then correct me. But on the top side, you have somebody that is going to the area office or whatever on a consistent basis, knows the reports, knows the troopers and everything else. And if things go really bad, it's his responsibility it's not like you're going to go running through the street, I'm an undercover agent or anything else. You have your cover and your top side that is like acting as that conduit between the work that you're doing. And he's probably one of just a very few people that knows exactly who you are and what you're doing.
Very much so. It was very limited as to who knew we were there. In fact, it was so limited, the chief of police, the Commonwealth's attorney, none of them. They knew we existed. They just didn't know who we were.
Which is the safest.
And I don't even think they knew. I don't even think they knew that we were females. I think that doesn't come out until later.
Okay.
But they know they've got undercovers working, and we're trying to target these problems. So Stanton Posse was the gang that was locally there. Mm-hmm. Then around Augusta County, you had various dope dealing people. Mm-hmm. And then Waynesboro had, we call them the Ford gang. Mm-hmm. Papa Ford, that was his name. That's what he went by. He had several women who had children, and he had about 26 kids of various ages. Into their 30s and down into the teens.
That's a gang.
So all of his male children were his drug dealers.
Okay.
So the Ford boys, and that's how we knew them. They were one of the gangs. Then there was a gang that had shown up. I think they had some relatives in the Stanton or Augusta area. Mm-hmm. They kind of lived on the outskirts of Stanton, and we called them the Beeper Boys for a name, but it was because they wore pagers, and that was very different, and no one was used to that. And there were about 10 or 11, and they had come down from Plainville, New Jersey area. They had been in Richmond.
Okay.
There had been a homicide in Richmond, and they suddenly ended up in the Stanton area. Some things, don't know what all that was about.
Right.
But there were a lot of things going on.
Okay.
Same as the Ford family had been in New York. There had been a homicide in New York, and they suddenly found themselves living in Waynesboro.
So they're like, hey, this is a much better. This is
Yeah.
a fresh start, and but it doesn't matter where you go. There's still that criminal activity. You just have to know how to get into it.
And so they had all of the access to cocaine, crack, and even heroin, which we were told there was no heroin, and so we made a couple of bottles of heroin from Papa Ford to go, well, yeah, there is.
So their sources were from their previous existence up there. So they had access to larger quantities.
Yeah, they just needed to be someplace that if anybody was investigating the homicides, maybe they couldn't find the killers.
Right, because I mean, back then you didn't have that you didn't have that instant access to communication. I always tell people one of the things that I thought was the coolest with the internet and with social media used to be when we'd proffer people and interview people that have done things wrong, and they start telling us information. It would take us days, if not weeks, to identify all the participants.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's like instant. Like you connect one, and pretty soon you not only have the ones that they know about, you have the other ones that they're connected to, and you can start linking them.
Well, this is why the Waynesboro informant would have been great.
Great. Okay.
Because he was so involved in the drug usage and drug world.
Okay.
He knew a lot of the names. He knew their names, their nicknames, their apartments that they lived in, some of the girlfriends that ran with them, places that they were buying some of the guns that were going back up north to be traded for coke and crack. He didn't necessarily know who was supplying and those sort of things or who was making the re-ups.
But that's what you did.
But that's what I was there for, is to get as much intel as I could and to become more of a vital person to them. Not just trying to buy $50 or $100 worth of coke, but getting them to trust me enough that they're talking to me, that they're wanting to ride with me in my car, go places with me. So I actually...
you started establishing who their network was and the way they operated.
And who was in charge and who had the control over things and who made the decision making. Also, I was seeing all the guns because I was seeing who was carrying for the most part. They were not as flashy about the guns up in the Stanton area when we were there. You saw the guns. Sometimes it was imprinted on their clothing. Other times you might have saw just the butt or the handle for the most part.
Right.
They were not as... direct. Later on, I would be with people who were very
and where were the
making
ones?
Sure.
Yeah, the direct ones. Where are they from?
I was in Portsmouth in the crack houses down there, and
So
they made it very clear.
But
they had
in
guns.
that type of situation, that's more of like you don't have the same word of mouth like you do in a small area like Waynesboro. You pretty much establish credibility every time. They do is they're like these dudes are strapped. I see they're strapped.
Right.
This is probably not somewhere where I need to try to rob somebody or anything else.
I don't want to do anything stupid, and if I got an informant with me, I don't want them doing anything stupid because the last thing we need to do is get
in the middle of a gun
shot because you tried to snag a $20 bag of rock. Don't do that. Just because I personally might have to kill you.
Well, tell me this: like, do you ever remember a situation that you were in working in an undercover capacity where you had to work past a bad situation that an informant put you in?
Not so much that the informant put me in, but I wish they'd have given me better details.
So you just you were like blind and you're just playing catch up.
Pantsing it all the way around. Just, just like, okay, what are you gonna do?
So does that go well with the groping story?
The groping story was not a informant that did an introduction, but an informant who had provided information.
Okay.
And I wish she had provided better details.
Like these guys are really careful. They're going to search you for wires and things
well,
like that.
It would have been nice if she'd have told me any of these things.
Okay.
So I got nothing out of it. So we go, and like I said, yes, I do get groped in this one. It's because the ideal or the person said to me, I need to check you for a wire. Right. Well, underneath my right armpit is where I have the Keltec body wire, and it runs underneath my underwire bra and comes right straight dead center cleavage, because most men always would address me and talk to me and talk to my boobs. That's just what they did.
Yeah.
So it made for great recording sounds and stuff.
I could imagine.
So, I mean, it's just one of those things. And then the antenna, you would kind of keep that into the bra strap, kind of up so that, because they had an antenna wire that went with it.
Yeah, because it's a transmitter. And I think to give it, I guess the best way to explain it, it's not as thick, but it's about the size of a deck of cards. It's just not as thin, but it's thinner.
Or like a smaller cell phone.
Okay.
Or
like the old razors.
And they get really hot sometimes.
Yes.
Especially if you're sweating.
Right.
Or if it happens to touch on anything metal or anything metallic.
It heats it up quick.
It heats up, really gets hot. I mean, it gets like it's burning, like it will leave a blister on you.
Right.
You'll get
part of your undercover work is like just trying to navigate a wire.
Yeah.
And not getting burnt.
And so first thing I do is I got those little mini socks, little ones, little anklets, and put it in that because that's like a little block between my skin and that. And then kind of put it up right next to the bra and then make sure I've got like a tape to make sure it's not going to go anywhere.
Right.
But if you start patting me down, that would be the normal, you'd find that. Well, if you found that, on the opposite side, I've got a Colt Mustang Light 380.
Right.
So I've got 6 rounds on that side of me, and I've got this on the other side of me. So you're going to find one or both at the same time.
Right.
Everything. No, this was a female. Her name was Connie. Connie was pimping out her 16-year-old daughter to
gang
I guess anybody.
Right.
And so, back when sex trafficking wasn't a term,
right, but
that's what she was doing, and it was all over prescription drugs. Connie was into the prescription drugs before anybody really. The state had just formed in '88 their drug diversion unit,
right,
and so it was just a few people around the state, and Special Agent Greg Lamb was one of them, and they had asked, would I go to this person's place, and this is what we'd been told by what the informant was, and I'm just going to go over here to Fishersville, Virginia, to this apartment complex, and you got to buy makeup from her. What? It's like, yeah, she sells
Mary Kay or whatever.
Mary Kay, Avon, somebody like that.
Yeah.
So you'll have to buy makeup from her before she'll discuss business with you.
You're like,
okay. So I go over. And the first time I'm there, she's very handsy and very flirty and very happy-go-lucky and just little Miss Makeup salesperson. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to buy like the Lauded or Valium, something there. Mm-hmm. And she sells me makeup first. As soon as I buy the makeup, then we're all about business. I can now buy the drugs.
Okay.
So I buy a couple of pills, get that, it's all good. No problem. And we did all of that just standing inside the apartment. It was perfect. So the next time I go by, she's all upset when I get there that, Lee, how come you don't have your makeup on? Because she sold me eye makeup.
Oh.
Well, here's the problem. I use state police money to buy the eye makeup. It's therefore part of the evidence. So they locked it up. So I don't have the makeup to put on because they put it in evidence.
Yes.
And I don't need to spend $15 to buy a whole eye makeup eyeshadow thing to do so.
Similar to what, but she knew exactly what she sold you.
She knew exactly what she sold me, and she's so happy to see me back again. And I'm standing there, and I just want 3 Dilaudid's, or 2 Dilaudid's is actually what I came for. But I get there to buy this, and it's like, okay, and she's on me. She goes, oh, you would look so pretty in makeup like that. I want you to talk to my daughter. You should meet my daughter. Why don't you come upstairs with me? And I'm just like, no, I'm good, because I'm not going upstairs.
Right.
Everything. And the 16-year-old is not dressed appropriately for company in the house.
Right.
At all. Like, not even close.
Right.
And it's an off feeling. Everything about it is off.
Right.
And she goes, why don't you wait down here then on the couch? Wait for us right here on the couch, everything like that, and we'll hang out. I'm just like, I didn't want to hang out, but I'm like, okay. Right. So I picked this far corner of the couch. She goes upstairs. While she's upstairs, in this minutes that are passing, the daughter keeps coming down the steps and back up and down the steps and back up, and I'm just like, this is weird. This is creepy weird. Everything about it is, and it's just like, somebody needs to teach you about wearing appropriate clothing because this is really bad.
Yeah.
And here comes Connie back downstairs. She just plops down on the couch right beside me. And she goes, I've got to check you for a wire. And she doesn't really check me for a wire. She actually sexually gropes me. And I realize I've just been sexually assaulted all in this like momentary second.
Right.
Because I'm trying to stand up out of the corner of that couch at the same time all this is happening.
You can't get up quick enough.
And it's kind of over with. And all you know is that this person has actually felt your boobs up and your crotch, but didn't find the body wire and didn't find the gun.
So you're kind of like offended that they groped you, but happy that they didn't find your wire.
Exactly.
I'm violated, but I'm still in the game. So,
I'm still here.
Score one for the home team. I survived. First
and all my thoughts were
I can't believe she did that.
This did not just happen. And she's just all giggly happy. And she's holding me by the hand. And she goes, look what I got you. And she's giving me the Dilaudid. And she gives me 3, which I'd only was buying 2. And she goes, this will take the edge off. We should take them now. We should do them now. And I'm thinking, I said, well, I got a job interview down at whatever gas station and stuff. So I can't do them right now. And I've got to leave. And all I could think was,
I've got to go.
I've got to go. I'm so glad I'm standing up, and I've got to go because I'm not going to sit back down, and I'm not going to stay here.
Lord knows what she's going to do next.
And this is all weird. And she's still talking about how I'm welcome to join her and her daughter upstairs, and I'm just sort of like,
this is weird.
Oh, there's a lot of things that were coming out of her mouth, and it was like, this is
so did you ever figure out what
No.
she was trying to get you to do, or
what we think and what was coming up and all, and what later gets learned when they go back and talk to this informing person is I would just be working just like her daughter would, basically. Just,
she was just trying to bring you further into the business and be like, hey, you can have your own room. This is how you can make money and everything else.
You come on over here and hang out, and we'll just all party, and we'll just entertain the people who come by, because that's money making.
Right.
Just like the pain pills were.
Right.
And she was shopping all up and down the Interstate 81 and down the 64 corridor. When they finally did the search warrants, they're finding hundreds of bottles, either empty or full or half full, of pills that she's been shopping from various doctors and various pharmacies. And with all of that, this is before the state has the system.
Yeah,
they're wanting the system, but to
system.
have the trafficking system, it wasn't there yet.
Right.
And so
there was so each doctor, all they knew is she came in, paid for a visit, had a medical condition, and they filled the script.
And you're going back up, because it's sort of like you're embarrassed, because the guys that are sitting out in the car know that you got groped when you went inside.
They laugh.
And you're trying to explain to them,
it wasn't funny.
It's like, nobody said anything about this. You guys didn't tell me what is this whole thing. Sorry about that. And I get that, but at the same time, it's just like, really need to talk. I don't want to go back there. Can we not go back there again?
Yeah, can we count that as number 3, the third buy?
And of course they were good. They were able to do, like I said, their search warrants and stuff there and all. But if we knew then kind of what we know now on the sex trafficking, there would have been more ways to work that, I think, and take it all in. I don't think from the person who was providing the information, because it was a female, I don't think they knew enough about it. But I saw and heard enough that gave me the, you get the willies, the creeps, that whole thing. And it just makes you.
There's more than what I'm seeing.
There's just that nausea that just like, this is terrible. And what do you really want to wring her neck, and there's nothing you can do.
No, you just have to sit there and take the groping.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, you just sit there going, okay.
So, one of the things that I've always tried to do is I've always tried to have, especially people that have experienced law enforcement like you've experienced. And as we close out the interview, first of all, I'll give you a chance. Is there anything else that's in the book, without telling all the stories? No. But is there any other story you'd like to tell, kind of about what happened in the book, and then I'd like to go over a couple things to round it out.
Well, I think with the book,
first of all, what's the name of the book?
The name of my book is called Becoming Fire.
Okay.
And then the subtitle is Chasing the Passion to Protect, Serve, and Love. Okay. A True Crime Memoir. And we kind of cover the police procedural / true crime, and it's my memoir. So it's my story. So if you really hate my story, it's just my life. Don't worry about it.
That's right. That's right. Don't complain about my life. I had to live it, right?
Yeah, I lived it. And the title, Becoming Fire, people ask, when we get that, I feel like at some point in your life, something has that spark in you, and it's there, and it kind of sticks with you. And eventually, that either turns into a flame and starts burning, and you start chasing those passions, that what you really want to do.
Right.
Or you let someone snuff that out. It gets put out, and you never do that, and you look back like, man, if I had just done this, if I had just tried this,
right.
but I didn't do it because of this or that and all. So when I start out with the state police, it's definitely just at a candle flame level of things. But everything I took in and everything I did, I was learning from it, and that flame and that fire was burning brighter. One of the things that I would like people to know, I write about the things that went on as a trooper and went on as an undercover, and a little bit about my personal life in there. But I didn't see my book as this thing of, hey, everybody treated me wrong, and I got a bum deal, and there was.
So this is not a hey, I've been wrong book. It is a book of
not at all.
it is a book about to me what I hear is this is a book about what we all go through, which is striving to be better and being driven towards what is really important to us.
Yeah.
And what you saw as a trooper and as eventually as an agent drew you into what is going to be next book, right?
Yes, exactly.
As like the next step for you. And I think that's what's really cool is that like you go through all these things in life, and I think people can like prepare you in a lot of different ways. But like you said, like you know what I feel like most people know this is what I want to do. This is what, when I look in the mirror and I go, or I lay my head on my pillow at night, even after being groped or anything else, you realize that what you did was good and was necessary and just fed that fire.
Right, and that's exactly what it's doing. And so I felt like I am becoming fire. I am learning, and I'm getting better at this, and I love what I'm doing. I had a passion for the job. I'd love to say it's all about wanting to help people and to be able to protect and that sort of thing. And that's a good part of it. But I like the adventure too. I mean, who doesn't like getting to drive at high rates of speed?
Right.
Who doesn't want to tackle a bad guy and be able to put the handcuffs on him and take him off the street and get them away from people?
Right.
So those things were great. And the undercover world is not Hollywood. And at the same time, it does require a lot of you, and it is a stress-inducing thing. And the longer you're in it, it becomes there. So the book is kind of, I guess, in stages because you're starting out with me, basically with my dad.
like a blank canvas to the
nothing.
end.
I know nothing. I get into it, and I was fortunate enough, and you'll meet these people in the book, a few of them, to be around men who encouraged me and taught me things and pointed out things. Like I told you about Trooper Bray, the things he's teaching me out there that night, I'm absorbing it just like a sponge because I was learning, and everything was a learning experience for me. Just the whole time I was just taking it all in. It was like, okay, I'm going to need this at some point, and
because they are further along in their career, they know you need that. They just have to slow down long enough to like teach you.
Yeah, and let you make mistakes because you're going to make mistakes. And of course, the state police is all about not making mistakes, but people are going to make mistakes. You're new.
Right.
You can't learn it all from an FTO.
An
FTO can't teach it all. Academies can't teach it all.
No.
Like I said, it just kept growing, and I kept doing. And then there was this whole thing. I knew in the academy, I wanted to be a special agent. I wanted to investigate crime. I learned that and I realized it, and it was like, how do I get to that goal?
Right.
I'm just barely at the academy, and I'm already thinking, ooh, how do I get to the next goal? How do I get to the next goal?
Mm-hmm.
And I've met a lot of women over the years who have told me, I wish I had done something like you did. I wish I had thought about it. I wanted to do it, but I didn't. And I understand that. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
And to have people, I wish, you tell your stories. Why don't you write them? Why don't you tell them and stuff? And I'm like, I will one of these days. So here I am. The other thing was, of course, when I came through with the state police, there weren't a lot of females.
No.
It was very new. The federal law was 1972. The Virginia State Police hired their very first female in 1976. The Virginia State Police promoted their very first two females in 1986. One was promoted to sergeant, one was promoted to special agent. Now, they had to meet all of the qualifications that were required for that at that point. There's your evaluation, your panel interview, your test scores for those particular occupations. But when I was there, there was very few. So having another female and seeing another female, there was one when I got to Division 5, Area 32, in that area.
Mm-hmm.
She'd been there 5 years. Everybody loved working with her, but she left. She had something else she wanted to do in life, and she did great at that. She was great at being a state trooper.
Right.
Then they eventually brought in a couple of more females down to work where I was at, and we were friends. We talked to each other, in the office, and occasionally out, but everybody's got their own life.
Right.
And everybody had their own goal of what they wanted to accomplish. And the state, as I was always told, is they're very traditional. They're very set in their ways. It will be a long time before you will be promoted. And it's not just you, it's everybody. And when I got there and was talking to people, the least amount of time anybody could think of somebody becoming a special agent, male or female, was 7 years.
Yeah.
And many people, it was 12 to 15 years, but 10 seemed to be about the average by the time somebody had a high enough evaluation. That was a big deal. Time in the job, then the test scores for that position,
Right.
and then the panel interview for that position.
Right.
And then there's only so many positions open.
Yeah, and it's just when they fall,
Right.
really, when the openings fall.
So you had to sit there and go, that's 10 years down the road. How can I make it go faster? And the one thing I'd been told was, if you ever get a chance to work undercover full time,
That'll fast track.
they kept saying that'll help. So
Right. So that's what you did.
yeah.
Well, so my question, as we wrap it up here, is first of all, tell everybody to go out and get the book at the end of October.
Yes.
Where's it going to be available at?
You'll see it on various websites, and
Okay.
we'll be advertising through Facebook and Instagram, and maybe some other sites. But
We'll
it
make
will
sure.
be Amazon for sure, Goodreads for sure. Let's see, that'll be through my website. That'll be out there as a book author. Then there will also be a lot of your smaller libraries, also Barnes and Noble.
Oh, cool.
But you'll have to go in and either order it through you tell them my name and or the name of the book, Becoming Fire, and then Jennifer Eskew or Jennifer Clarke Eskew.
Okay.
And they can pull it up and order it for you because, until you get known,
Right.
I'm not James Patterson yet, so
Yeah.
they're not going to hold my book on the shelves.
We'll see what happens. So my question to end the interview is this. I had a lot of people sit in that chair that have talked about their careers and things like that. But like for you and the effort that you had to go into and not having a guidebook to go by, what can law enforcement today, with all the information, technology, and everything else, do better at? I've got something that popped in my head, so we can do it one or two ways.
You tell me what,
All right,
what you think.
Based on what I heard from you today is what we can do better as law enforcement is train the next generation of law enforcement.
Exactly.
Take the time and have them learn the job. If we should expect them to make mistakes, but prepare them to fill the space that we are going to vacate at some point when we retire.
Absolutely. And I think it's imperative that the older generations, that we impart what we know to help them, not to belittle them, not to make fun, not to
Or make
tell them how
ourselves
great
feel
you are.
better.
Yeah, I'm so great. No, I'm not. But getting them ready and teaching them ways. I do think that the best training methodologies come from case studies and hands-on, because they take in so much more, and we've got so many more ways to display that to them through video and PowerPoint and just a lot of
Yeah, I
things,
mean,
you
I
know.
think in officer survival, how many it used to, when we were going through, we'd have videos that were like 20 and they were really grainy and everything else. And like for me, everybody's wearing a body camera now.
Right.
You can make changes on the fly.
Yes.
And I think that's what's really cool.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and that stuff is out there, and I think that we use those tools and we train them. I think that our recruiting on these things, we need to be making sure that there are Explorer troops available
okay.
across the country so that young people who have an interest in that have a place, an outlet to learn, and they don't feel embarrassed to ask the questions about it. I didn't have anybody to ask back then, so I asked my dad out in the
but you were fortunate enough with someone who believed in you as a person,
right,
and said, "I like the way you're going, but you're going to do it this way."
right.
So, hey, I really appreciate you coming on. I wish you a lot of luck on that book. If it's anything like what you told us today, which I know it is,
Oh, it's gonna be a lot.
It's going to be a great. It's going to be a great read. So thank you for your time and thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.